Hello and welcome to another episode of Tales from a Professional Nerd. My name is BryanCPSteele and I will be your nerd today and any other day that you watch one of my silly little shows. Hi everybody, today is a good day. I just totally sounded like it was some kind of like self-affirmation video. Today is a good day. Tomorrow will be a better one. No, so today's good. Today's good. Let's do a quick week in Bryan, and then we will go ahead and do an unboxing from our good friends over at Steamforged Games. Not a sponsor, but they do send me product to unbox. So, I guess I'm supposed to legally say that. I don't know. I still don't know all of the ins and outs of the YouTube's laws. Which I guess is a funny thing to say on the YouTubes, to admit one's ignorance to the YouTubes. All right. Let's go ahead and start. We'll start off with the easy thing. Gaming. Really, this week, all I've other than playing an absolute ridiculous amount of Mortal Kombat 1 and Starfield, of which my son got me hooked to. The only role playing I've done this week is I got to play in my wife's D&D game, the Land of Monsters is what she calls it. That is where I am a Duergar cleric of the Forge. I am Hardmunder. I'm having a blast. We're having a good time. I don't know if you remember me mentioning it. We are currently embroiled, no pun intended, with a community of Azer. It's tense. But after the last session, I think we are about ready to go out on our own to go into the adamant mines to try and mine some adamant that we need to do for a quest for the worldly kind of avatar of of my character's god, so forth and so on. So it's a big deal, and we just learned in the last episode that there are kobolds afoot, and they come in vast numbers. So while we have just reached 6th level, and most of the time kobolds are at that point kind of a pushover, I know some of the resources that my lovely bride has at her fingertips, and I am not expecting this to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. So that's pretty much it for gaming. I haven't done any painting. The same 5 battle mechs have been sitting over there half painted for 2 weeks. I just honestly, because of all the cool new video games and me not having any commission painting to do right now, I just haven't really had the oomph to get over there and throw paint on models, which I should. Especially my conquest stuff, my Dwagam army stands there staring at me in unpainted, unprimed plastic glory. And they just did, the guys over at Parabellum just did a preview of the Iron Drake. And man, it's cool. I don't like banners on my models a lot, unless they are like a banner bearer. I don't like them just decorating a model. So I'll probably find a way to trim those off, the ones that are on like the back. And I want to know more as to why there's a dead dwarf on the back of the Iron Dwarf. Like why there's like a almost like a mummified dwarf on the back of the Iron Drake, because that was not described in. It doesn't seem to have any stat reason for that. So I'll be interested to see what that means. But it's a really, really slick model, and I've been eyeballing its stats since the very beginning of me being involved with Conquest. Not to mention, there's a bunch of stuff. I still don't have any initiates. I'm like probably 2 or 3 releases behind on my force. I don't know. Just been very busy with all kinds of stuff. In fact. Let's see. Personal. Let's see. I mentioned if anybody follows me on socials, you know that I've been going to the gym, and that I had told myself that when I had gotten down to a steady, because there's always that weight, the water weight gain that kind of fluctuates, the 2 or 3 pounds that kind of bounce back and forth. When I was steadily 25 pounds lost since Origins, which I have been now for a week, I told myself that I would start actually doing weights. I would start actually doing the weight machines to work on some muscle instead of just trying to lose fat. And that my mental promise was at 25 steady pounds lost, I would add chest, shoulders, and arms, kind of work on my upper body parts, because the cardio takes care of most of my midsection, and my legs have never been a problem. I used to skateboard and play hockey, and my legs I've never felt like my legs were out of shape, ever, even when I was at my absolute biggest. That's just, it is what it is, like the muscle density was set there a long time ago. But at 40 pounds constant, I will add in 1 day a week of doing like back and core. So I hurt. If you didn't notice by my wince when I lifted my arms, I may have overdone it yesterday. I don't know if I did, or this is just, hey Bryan, you haven't lifted weights in a long time, so ouch. But it sucks. I honestly, when I woke up this morning, I must have had my arm pinned underneath my head or something, because when I lifted my arm, like to roll over and turn off my alarm, it was like a vice at my elbow. It was awful. It's a lot better now, but like, yeah, my triceps and my elbows are killing me. Or whatever that tendon is in the elbow. I'm not picking anything up today. If I, apart from this is making my muscles sore, and it's just a drink. So yeah, ouch. But it's a good ouch, and I know it. I'm not being fuss. I'm just pointing out that if you see me wince weirdly, I don't have any kind of weird affliction. I've got very sore chest and arms right now. So that's pretty much it on a personal level. I can't think of anything else. I mean, again, I'm kind of an open book. I play a lot of video games. I design games. I write a bunch of stuff, and then I occasionally work out. So the biggest chunk of the week in Bryan is definitely going to be work related, because a lot has happened this week, and I'm pretty much everything good. My son and I, as one of the producers over at Evil Genius, I get to plan out and pitch things that I think are going to be cool. Interesting game products and stuff that moving forward. We are getting a lot of stuff done for Pack Room right now, which is awesome. I got a couple of writers that need to turn in some things, but apart from that, all steam ahead. All ahead full. Things are going well there. I've got to hear some stuff back on a couple of licenses that we are talking about, because as soon as I get the green light on one of them, I'm going to immediately start putting words to page. I have got a list of notes of things that I want to do, and obviously the first thing I have to do is build the outline to put together the rest of the team for the kickoff meeting. But I am so inspired by that particular that particular concept, that I didn't waste a lot of my time putting words to page in case things fall through. But I do have a lot of things planned that I cannot wait to start churning out. Let's see, what else? The oh yeah, so we were talking about how I get to plan a lot of the future. Well, there's a handful of things that we are working on for next year that that are still very tentative. But one of them, my son actually had a really good idea the other night. We were talking about role-playing games and just kind of stuff in general, and he kind of chirped about how something would be very cool, and I was like, that would be pretty cool. And so I started doing some research, and on my next big development meeting with the big boss, I plan on pitching it to him and being like, hey, I think this could be a really cool concept. And I definitely want to do it. So yeah, so that'll be rad. And I think that Dave, that's my boss over at EGG. I think that Dave will be open and amenable to that. I think that because it's a good idea, it's a solid idea, it's got a big audience. I know I'm being vague, but it's mostly because if it falls through, I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. But yeah, so just a very inspired week. As far as my other my other stuff, had a cool meeting with a guy about a thing. God, I hate being vague. But a very old friend of mine that goes back many years, like before industry years, back when I was just a gamer, someone who I used to game with back in the day. And we were talking about something that he might need my help on. And when I have, I need to verify that it's something that I have the bandwidth and honestly the legal presence to be able to do. But I'm very hopeful that this will be something that I can at least help him with. Whether or not it's like a big gig or anything, that's not really kind of what I'm thinking. My main thing here is he has a very cool idea. Him and his company have a very cool idea, and if I can be of any help, I'd like to be. Is really what it kind of comes down to. And let's see, Shadowrun stuff. Couple of cool things, actually. I got a lot of progress on the current novel done this week, and I got hit with the inspiration bat and just basically shut my studio door and was like, and words. I'm really liking where that's going, and I think that I believe that the fans will enjoy that story as well. I will freely admit, I love inserting my own old Shadowrun characters into my stories. I don't like doing them as the starring role because it feels a little egotistical. But I do like them as a co-star because I know what they would do, what they feel like, what they sound like, because I played them. And so I got to, like how I had inserted Hollywood in Control Issues. If you haven't read it, you should. Which is probably my longest standing Shadowrun character to date is Hollywood. In fact, I actually play him now on like stream games and things. When I'm asked to come play on a Shadowrun stream, it's almost always Hollywood. And we will probably see Hollywood again in fiction in the future. But this time around, I got to add one of my. While I only played him in one campaign, he was absolutely one of my favorite characters, and that's Toro. I got to play a Minotaur, and to say that he is an unconventional fighter would be absolutely burying the lead. But we will come back to that in the future. So eventually, when this book that I'm currently writing comes out, you will find that a cameo character that was in another story, a Minotaur named Toro, has a bigger role in this particular novel, and that is my old character. So yeah, I'm very happy there. And then actually, literally just yesterday, I had to do some spot edits on a short story that is going to end up in a compilation. So yay for that. I forgot. I won't say that I forgot that I wrote the story, because that's silly. But I forgot that it hadn't been published yet. So that's always fun to be like, hey, cool, what a neat random thing. And of course, going through and doing all the little post edits and little rewrite snippets and whatever. You get to reread your work, and that is always, if it's been a long enough time, it's fun to go back and remember what it was like to be first penning these ideas. And I remember that phrase. I wanted an entire scene based around that phrase, like that kind of thing. So yeah, yesterday was a lot of fun. And then my last little thing that's probably the most time sensitive, or time appropriate. I don't know what word to use there. Is Warzone Eternal. Warzone Eternal, a couple of weeks ago, we started up the smoke test on the backer kit beta, basically to make sure that the system was going to work and it was going to be able to handle everything and do the options that we needed it to do. Well, it went live yesterday. So, if you are interested in Warzone Eternal, if you want to get in on the Kickstarter and get all the Kickstarter exclusives and things, including a fiction book that we are offering through the Kickstarter, is follow the link that's in the description of the video, because that will take you to the backer kit pre-order screen, which is a new fancy rebranding of late backer. I'm willing to bet that somebody probably was like, I don't like feeling like you're calling me late. And it hurt somebody's sensibilities about being late all the time or something. I don't know. Or maybe it was just because the late backing has nothing to do with making it fun. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, is they've rebranded late backer to pre-order. So there's a link to the pre-order Warzone Eternal Kickstarter page in the description of this video. And if you are at all interested or you want to support the project, please click on it and order appropriately. Along with the pre-order, the backer kit pre-order page, we released the almost final rule set for Warzone Eternal out to the public. We wanted people to start being. It's always been our goal to make sure that people can play and enjoy and kind of proxy the models that we have announced, in order to know whether or not they want to buy them. Because all the stat cards and stuff come in the boxes. It is our goal to make sure that nobody buys something and then goes, God, this was such a terrible purchase. We want people to be ready and that they enjoy what they get. So we released the rule set, and the first wave of unit stats for the miniatures that are coming in the Kickstarter, with a couple of minor exceptions, and that's because they are not, those couple of minor exceptions are not fully through playtesting yet, and we did not want to release something that, a week from now is going to be different. But all that being said, the rules so far, which if you aren't aware, if you haven't been on the clock or anything like that, and you don't know what's up, is so the Warzone rules. Alex Knaus is the owner of Resnova. He is Resnova. He's the one that got the license to do Warzone. He's the one that contacted me and contracted me to do that. But when it comes to the rule set, I took Alex's bare bones. Basically, Alex handed me this is the concept that I want to use, and then I added and designed and developed on top of that. And then it's been a collaborative effort ever since. But it is definitely, it definitely is something that I feel I have a very deep connection to. So every time that I hear someone say, "Oh, these rules look great," or "Oh man, I got a chance to finally look at this. These look fantastic," or I'm not gonna call them out by name, but there was a very vocal dissenter of the Warzone Eternal project about a year ago, and he is very, very pro previous versions of Warzone. Very, I don't, you should have just re-released the old set. God, I hate the concept of what you're doing. I hate what you're doing. I hate this. And getting a message from him that says that he was wrong and that this rule set looks really good. It looks very fun, and that he is going to. That at the time we didn't have the backer kit pre-order page running yet, but he actually had said that he was like, I can't wait for the pre-order. I wish I would have backed this originally. I'm glad that these rules are out, and that meant the world to me. Not like just oh man, we won over somebody who hated on our rules. It's not like that. It means the people, we know that the rule set was going to do well with new players, because it was designed to be friendly for new players, to try and kind of scratch the itch that we know that a lot of games are missing right now, and that was the goal. But to hear someone who is 30 years deep in Warzone, or 20 years deep in Warzone, who had ground their heels in and were I'm not getting a new version, only to then turn around, give it a look, take a look at the free download, and go, you know what? I was wrong. These are awesome. Means so much, because it means that we hit the nail, that nail that we wanted to hit, that kind of midway between new game aesthetic, new game mechanic feel, and the nostalgia factor of old Warzone and old Mutant Chronicles. We wanted to hit that spot as close to middle as we could. And to hear that from that person, knowing how how steadfast they were and how much they hated what we were doing. Like I said, yesterday was a real good day, for lots of reasons. Yeah, so I'm very, very happy there. And also there's, I won't lie. So on one of the, my group of friends were, all of my local playtesters, my local gamers, we have our own little Discord channel for us to be able to plan things and whatnot. And back during the Kickstarter, they opened up a thread that was dedicated to Warzone Eternal, and I was like, "Oh, that's nice." And it's been kind of quiet, a couple of messages here and there, that kind of thing. But when the rules dropped, it was really cool to see my friends just openly talking, not asking me questions, not like, "Hey, do you have the stats for this?" or "Hey, when are we going to get this?" Nothing like that, but just literally just talking about the game. Because that is, I'm going to let you in a little secret. As a creative, as a gamer in the industry, it is very hard to spend countless hours and stress and mental wherewithal to create these games, to not have your closest friends read them, play them, talk about them. Basically, it feels like, oh, because they know you, they don't have to support that, and all you do is see them supporting other things. Which is not to say I want people to only play my stuff or read my books. It is to say that because I know how big of gamers they are, because I know how much gaming dominates their life, that this product isn't on their list, whether or not I have anything to do with it, is a a reminder or a doubt, like a little whisper that's like, hey, you must not be making something very cool if your own locals aren't playing it, aren't talking about it, aren't reading it. So it's to get back onto a positive note, it's really cool to see them talking about the units and not being prompted or anything like that. Like they're just straight up being like, hey, this is the faction I'm going to play. This is, and again, it leads me to believe that Alex and I and the rest of the people behind the curtain, we came up with something really good, and I'm very happy with where it's gone, where it's going, and hopefully the stuff that has yet to see the light of day will make people just as happy. That's the goal. That's the overall goal. All right. So, without further ado, I know it was a long week in Bryan, but the meat of today's is an unboxing. I want to talk about so it's not the newest epic encounters from Steamforged, the Island of the Crab Archon. All right. Anybody who knows me knows that I am a huge fan of anything Aquaman, ocean, sharks, pretty much across the board. If it comes out of the ocean, I'm a big fan. And when this came out, I had asked Steamforged, I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to get my hands on that. And they said their rep said they were going to send me some. And I was like, oh, awesome. And somewhere along the lines between here, Origins, Gen Con, getting the lizard thing and the dinosaur, or the death dinosaur thing, I actually forgot that I had got these, unwrapped them, and put them in a box. Like, basically set them on a shelf for an unboxing in the future. And then so this last weekend, my lovely bride, who has been using the Epic Encounter stuff a lot for her game, sorted everything out and found, she's like, these aren't even out of their shrink wrap. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I needed to do that. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and do the Epic Encounters Island of the Crab Archon. So if you haven't seen my earlier ones about this, or you haven't seen these products, Steamforged Games puts out these Epic Encounters boxes, and they are a self-contained a series of like a themed series of monsters, a backdrop, if you will, for you to bring this adventure into your game. This one obviously is based around, well, I'll read the back before I open it up. Crab folk, the Carcanos. Any sailor worth his salt has learned to fear these cutthroat crustaceans. Still, some dismiss them as simple pirates. The briny depths are littered with the corpses of those who learned the truth. The Carcanos strike with the speed of the tides, slipping forth from the water for brutal slaughter. Hey, it rhymes. Leaving behind a mound of severed heads and a rumor of death from the deeps. So it's just cool. And part of the reason why I really kind of dug this is crab people is not really something that you find in many D&D games. You've got fish folk, you got merfolk, you got, Sahagwen and actual mermen and tritons, and you've got all of that, but actual, crab people, I can't think of any off the top of my head. So this holds a special place in my heart for a couple of different reasons. Because it's got hopefully new monsters that I've never used, and then it has my love of the ocean. So let's get this box open. Maybe. All right. So box lid open. We'll set box lid over here so you guys can see it. All right. We have an advertisement for Shrine of the Kobold Queen, Lair of the Red Dragon, Hall of the Orc King, and Caverns of the Frost Giant, which I've already unboxed those. But yeah, very cool. We'll add a little advertisement. All right. And now we get into the meat of the meat of the issue. Now, one of the things that one of my buddies had told me the last time we did an unboxing, I apparently did not pay close enough attention to showing you guys the product. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and move my camera down a little bit so you can see more right here in front of me. So it's not on me, and I'm a little washed out because of the light, but just to, oh, you know, maybe if I turn this light off a little bit. Not really. Oh well. All right. We'll do that for now, and we'll aim down a little bit so we can take a look at what we got here. All right. So we get. Yeah. You know what? That glare is killing me. Let's do this. Oh, that's worse. Man, I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know how to make these lights. I wish I had better lights up here. All right, so this map that we get, so we get a cool, let's see, yeah, so we've got a very cool kind of series of docks on the water, almost like a bayou village, and then on the back we have, looks like, it's very dark, I think it's like a beachfront at night, like a tide pool kind of thing, like a beachy tide pool at night. That's pretty cool. I'm down with that. I am down with that. It's a good map. It's a good. I like maps that have got really good, like flavor to them. Like everywhere can be a jungle. But like that mismatched docks and things. Those would be cool. All right, and we have the Epic Encounters Island of the Crab Archon booklet that has all of our stuff. It's got the description of everybody in the back. It says that we get 3 scuttler crabs, 5 Carcanos infantry, 5 Carcanos netters, 3 Carcanos stalwarts, 3 Carcanos Kingsguard, and then we get 1 Carcanos Oracle and 1 Carcanos Archon, which it is the Island of the Crab Archon, so that is the mini boss, or the boss of this level. All right, so let's take a look at what we get. We have they always have the before starting what level your players are. What tier of play gives you kind of the generic, here is the average difficulty that you should set everything, and here is the average damage level that things should do, unless it says otherwise. Always cool. Well, that's neat. It's that village. It's a cool piece of art. It's got like a little crab hanging on to the thing. All right. So there's a big story about the Carcanos. So that way they are kind of adding to their own mythos. We have the different locations involved. There's a village, a fish smokery. Yeah, cool. Oh, there's a bunch of neat like story hooks. Dark cult rises, a plague seizes a city, dozens of ships have vanished. Yeah, cool, neat. It's a neat piece of art, even if it's very dark. Looks like one of the Carcanos, maybe a stalwart or a Kingsguard, painted in all black. Creepo. All right. We have rules for what you find in the different huts. There's rules for, oh neat, there's a random table for when you're walking, if you're walking and sneaking down those wet, slick walkways in the village, what it can do. Anything from they are slippery, so you might fall off, to a dolphin attack. It's not what I would think of. The Carcanos themselves might be there. Stuff that you can find inside the different houses. One of them's a fish smokery, and I gotta say, there is something really cool about the concept of aquatic critters not just eating their food raw. Like you see that so often in other D&D creatures, you know, or it might just be like roasted over a campfire. It's on a spit, you know, like that kind of thing. I love the idea of these guys being, you know, intelligent. I mean, they're not monsters. They're a culture. They're a people, and them seasoning their fish and having a smokehouse. You know, they would prefer to smoke this rather than just eat raw. You know, like, I love it. It separates them from being just savage creatures to a species that has a culture, that has probably a god that they worship. You know, yeah, like you could totally use this. And then there's rules for the different stuff that happens on the island. Then we get into the actual, like, the adventure itself, talking about what to do inside the thing. So that tide pool I was talking about, it is an oracular pool. So there's an oracle that reads it. That's cool. And we have stats. Stats for the Scuttler crab. It is exactly what you think it is. It's a little crab dude that has pinchy claws. We have hunting shark. Oh, you know what? Hunting shark must be in the adventure. Because I was like, there's no stats for a hunting shark, or there's no model. So it must be like if you are underwater fighting something or whatever. Carcanos infantry. Oh, neat. So they are definitely, you know, pinchy, clawy combat fighters. But they also, the infantry at least, I don't know if everyone else does, they've got aquatic telepathy, so they can magically command. They basically can do the Aquaman thing. Yeah, I love these. The netter, very similar to the warrior, but it's a little tougher, and it's got a trident and a net. So it has the rules for the net. The stalwart, very same thing, except it's just hard as nails and is more a kind of charging juggernaut kind of thing. The Kingsguard got the telepathy, but the Kingsguard they've got 4 arms, so they are all about fast and lots of attacks. The Oracle, the Carcanos Oracle, she is, or it, they, I don't know. It's creepy looking. It's got the telepathy. It's got some spells. But it also has a giant eel. It has magically and psychically bonded with a giant eel that acts as her. Acts as her protector. Cool. So basically, on its base, it's got this eel that fights and protects with it. And then we've got the Carcanos Archon, the big baddie himself. He is awesome. We'll take a look at the model a little later, but yeah, he's very cool. He is he's like almost like a crab knight. He's got a giant claw for one hand and a huge sword. He has 2 cool stats. These are great stats. He has the Fury. When reduced to half his starting hit points, he enters a state of Berserk Fury. He gains advantage on all strength-based attacks and deals an additional D8 damage. That's awesome. So when you get him down to a lot of hit points, he is just a clobber beast. That's awesome. He also has Crab King. The Archon gains advantage on all saving throws while adjacent to one of his Kingsguard. So one of those like fast, scooty ones, if they're next to him, he gets advantage on all of his saving throws. That's neat. So rather than it being like a bodyguard situation where a hit goes to them, or like they can jump in the way or anything, or they can spend their reaction, he just is cooler when they're around. That is very, very cool. And then, of course, we have the credits page. This one was designed by Matt Hart, but my good buddy Richard August was the writer and the game developer for this in particular thing. So, Richard, I love it. You made this for me. I know you did. All right, let's get this back up, because that That was weird. Alright. So, it's another one of the ones that has the nice form-fit lid. Like, there's no tape. Oh, there is tape. I lied. So this might be the last one before they started doing snap fits. I lied. You know what? This goes to show that between the Island of the Crab Archon and the Steps of the Lizard Thane, they notched up their production value, because this is very cool. And while I like these just fine, the snap fit ones are chef's kiss. All right, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at one of each of these. So all of the Epic Encounters boxes, they take a color of plastic, and that is the primary plastic. Obviously, if you're going to prime them and paint them, the color is irrelevant. But they do they allow you at a glance to know, are all these monsters from the same set? They have, and at this point, in the 7 or 8 sets that they've done, they've not doubled up their plastic, and I don't think that they will. All right, here's one of those cute little scuttler crabs. Look how cute this guy is. It's just, I mean, he's about the size of like I would say about half as tall as maybe 2/3 as tall as a person, and he's just got this big old claw. He's just kind of scuttly around. There's 3 of those, and he's also a lot of plastic, very dense on that one. The regular everyday carcon. What are they called? Carcanos? Yeah, Carcanos. I said it right. The next one up is the Carcanos Warriors. And these guys are pretty cool because they have their big, so like a regular soldier, he's got his weapon and a shield. Now his weapon is his claw, like his main like sword hand is his claw, and then he's carrying this shield. Like looking at the back of it, I don't know if you can see, but it's actually, he's holding it. It's just tied to his arm, so it's not completely. It's not completely like. You're not, again, separating them from like creepy monsters to just sort of an inhuman species. He's wearing clothes, or well, he's got like a loincloth and like yes, it's made out of living, like that shield it looks like a starfish or something like that, but it's not alive on him. It's not part of him. It's just equipment that he's wearing. That's cool. And then next after that we have the Netters. Got a handful of those. And this little guy, I love him. So he's got a trident and a net. He's got a very flat, wide head with a little itty bitty like. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Like a little itty bitty face underneath there, but his shell is also like his armor. He's got armor everywhere. He's another one that's wearing a loincloth. But like the other one, the arm that's holding the net is a claw. So the arm that's holding a net is a claw, but the arm that's holding the trident has a hand, very similar to the warrior, who's got the claw and then a hand that's holding the shield. So that's neat. Next up we have what is the Carcanos? This is the Brawler, the Stalwart. All right, now this guy's a big boy. This is the first of our large models. So he's on a big base. He has a kind of a cape, like a little half cape sort of thing coming off of his back, but he's primarily just big, armored. There's no hands on this guy. He is all claw all day. But yeah, very cool. He's got a little tiny head tucked into his chest. Yeah, those guys are pretty cool. I would love to just see these guys in combat. Not against me as a DM. And here are the King's Guard. Very fast, very scooty, very thin and spindly, almost Thri-kreen-ish. Like, you could maybe use this as like an aquatic Thri-kreen. But it's another one that's got like that kind of half cape behind him. All four of his hands are claws. I almost kind of wish that maybe like the lower hands were people hands and they had like knives or something. But I mean, either way, he's still very cool. There's just this guy and the Stalwart, the Kingsguard and the Stalwart look very monsterish. Like if these came out at me, I wouldn't. If those were the first things that I encountered, I wouldn't necessarily think, oh, this is a culture of people. This is just a monster. Which that is what it is. And then we have. Oh yeah, she's cool. We have the Karkanos Oracle. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get this. I really want you to be able to see this one. Not as much as the Archon, but so she's another one that's got a claw and a hand. So she's kind of goes back to that original, they've got their thing. But her head, if you can see, it's a spiral. So it's like not just is she a crab person, but she's got kind of like a nautilus head, which is very cool. But how her magically bonded, if you look below, wrapped around her base and her is that magically bonded familiar eel thing, the giant eel. So this, if I get around to painting these, this one would be a lot of fun to paint, because I would probably paint almost all of the actual crab people themselves very neutral colors. They probably wouldn't be very flashy, but I would love to do that eel done up as like a snowflake moray or something. Very, very cool. Their spellcaster is neat. And then the tip of the iceberg, the man himself, who has a very big claw, but then he also has a hand. The Archon. Look at this monster. He is huge. So he's bigger than the Stalwarts. His claw is as big as a person. He's got that cool kind of sawfish bone sword. Very, very cool model. I'm never a big fan of super elaborate sculpted bases, but this one's good. He's just kind of on a rock that's got an anchor. Yeah, this guy's neat. That claw is ridiculous. Like, let's get that regular sized person. That claw is almost as big as a regular person. He's so big. So that is the island of the Crab Archon. So let's get this put back, because if you've watched any of these before, you know how this goes. The Epic Encounters always does a box that is, here is the kind of the setting and the main critters, and then there is the matching, the box that comes out with them is the matching boss box, like this kind of a epic box. This one is called the Cove of the Dragon Turtle. It says, and as a side note, while it did not win, this was a nominee for an Ennie this year. Not an Ennie. Was it an Ennie? Either an Ennie or an Origins Award. I think it was an Ennie. Because just how cool of a model it was. I think it was a fan choice, like a fan nominee for Best Adventure Companion product. I'm not 100% sure. It didn't win, unfortunately, but it was nominated, so these are good things. All right, so let's give you the lowdown. Whispers travel across the seas of a titanic beast. Whispers travel across the seas of a titanic beast that dwells in the depths, a snapping, snarling chaos that surges from beneath the waves to snatch its prey. Some speak of these monstrous predators singing to one another with haunting, wordless ululations, crooning over the silent seas. Others a slow death, victims kept alive to be consumed limb by limb. Sailors give it many names: Old Grim Teeth, the Living Island. No matter the name or the language it's spoken in, all sailors fear the Dragon Turtle. Dun 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 dun. Alright, let's take a look at this. Alright, so we got the Dragon Turtle. Comes with advertisement. Comes with a very cool map, I'm sure. Let's take a look at said map. I can already tell what one side is. One side is a like cove that has like a rowboat and some glowy parts and some kind of glowing algae in the water. So that's cool. And then the other side is more cove. So it's just kind of leads into one another. So very neat there. That's a cool. I'm sure that we'll play something with the monster itself. We have one of the things that all the epic boxes seem to come with is the boss boxes. If you don't have the epic encounter that they're attached to, they come with little tokens for you to use. It's because a lot of the epic encounters has got this boss, but it also wants to have some minions along with it. So it doesn't assume that you have the previous box in case you just bought the Dragon Turtle. It's got 8 Karkanos infantry, those guys with the shields and claws, in token form. And then it's also got, or I guess 9 of them. And then it also has 7 Dragon Turtle hatchlings. So little extra. I'm sure that's probably has to do with the scenario. But it's a nice touch to be able to not just go, all right, here's a monster. All right, so the encounter itself. Okay, so it's the same thing as before. We've got the welcome to epic encounters. You know, what tier are you at? It's got some hooks like for how you could introduce a Dragon Turtle. And then things you might find on the way to getting a Dragon Turtle. Some tactics on how to use it. And then actually like rules for the encounter in the map itself. So rules for deep water, the scent of the sea, the crumbling walls. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Oh, hang on 1 second. I will be with you in a second. I have a phone call that I cannot miss. Be right back. And we're back. All right. Where was I? We were talking about the encounter aspects. Yeah. So there's rules for deep water. There's rules for crumbling walls. Very just neat stuff. Some aspects on using the terrain to your advantage when you're the GM. And then we have the actual encounter itself, the different parts of the map, what you could find there, what kind of saving throws you might have to take if you're investigating them. Just very, very neat stuff to bring you to this just epic boss fight. One of the things that I do like about this is that they always have a little chart for the boss. That if, let's say that you want your combat to be more than just, I attack you, you attack me, I attack you, you attack me. This gives you kind of a flow chart of cool things that you can do to vary up how the fight goes. So it feels different than just fight, 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 fight. And then it's got rules for those different attacks and some GM tips on how to use them. And then there is cinematic moments and layer abilities for if you're fighting it in its house. And then there's always a little bit of treasure that they say is good to find when you beat this thing. And then we have the actual stats themselves of this gigantic beast. Different versions of it depending on how tough you need. So there's a CR7 version, a CR10, and a CR17. For those who are not aware of D&D 5e, how that works, CR is challenge rating, and that is the average. A group of 4 or 5 adventures of that level would need to use roughly a quarter of their resources, their collective game asset resources, to defeat something of that CR. So to tell you that a CR17 dragon turtle is significant would be the understatement. And then it's got, just in case if you don't have the main box or the earlier box, it's got rules. It reprints the rules for the Carconis infantry, and then it's got rules for the dragon turtle hatchlings, which is adorable. And then we have the credits. Which very similar to the Carconis wing. Matt Hart did the main game design, but my boy Richard August did game development and writing. Fantastic there. And now to cap off this fabulous thing. Oh, this might be the first time I've seen this. I am. This is interesting because this is the first time I've seen this out of the Epic Encounters people. So I mentioned that they always use the same color plastic for everything. This is the first time that I've seen them not. We have the dragon turtle is done in this kind of sea green. This kind of teal green, which isn't used in any... God, that's a really cool model. Look how good that is. That is really tight. He's got sharp claws. He's got this cool kind of like layered barnacle sand. You could absolutely see how someone might think this is an island if it was just sitting there. But his head is very draconic. It's very dragon, which again leads us to him being a dragon turtle. And then he's got this cool like flappy tail. You know, the flippy splashy tail. This is a really cool model. But so the sand is the same color as the Island of the Crab people, or the Island of the Crab Archon. The actual turtle itself is a different color that they haven't used yet, and I'm gonna say I have a theory because they've been so good. I'm actually gonna ask Richard this after this. I won't be able to tell you one way or the other, but I'm gonna try and verify. Ouch, he is very sharp on the top. I am gonna try and verify my theory here. All the rest of the bosses have been very, very specific to like one place. Like this guy is in a mountain. This guy is in a thing. This really is the first one that has 2 drastically different biomes that it can live in. It can live on the surface as an island, as a swampy, like it could absolutely live on the surface and hang out with the island of hang out with the Crab Archon and his Carconos people. Or it could totally be used as a boss in an aquatic game. And I'm gonna say it now. And I could be wrong, I could be totally off, but I think this is gonna be one of the first double purpose bosses. I think that there could easily be an underwater encounters box using this color as their plastic, and then all you'd have to do is include in that box a little side note caveat if you have this product, you could use this as an alternate big boss or something. Because then this would be a perfect example of the Karkanos being represented and then the merfolk being represented. But yeah, look how cool he is. All right. So that's my prediction, and I'm actually going to totally ask Richard when I'm done here, because I really do think that that's going to be the case. I can't figure out how to get this box lid back on. Oh well, box lid's gone. All right. Well, I know I've kept you over that I normally do a little bit. So we've been talking about such cool stuff. But I want to say thank you to Steamforged Games for sending me this to do the unboxing. Thank you for everybody who has stayed and listened. Thank you for the well wishes. Oh, and a quick update I should have done at the very beginning. Thank you for getting me dramatically closer to buying the new 3D printer. I got another donation last week, and I'm almost there. So thank you for donating to both the PayPal and the CashApp thing that's in the description of the video. So I appreciate that a great deal. I guess, just I'm excited for stuff that's coming in the future. Next week, I have a very interesting episode planned. You will just have to wait and see. I'm going to go back to one of my older styled videos where I grab a topic and I pontificate. So, without further ado, please stay safe. COVID is starting to pop up again. I mean, it is what it is. Sadly, it's just part of our society now. So wear a mask in places where you feel you have to. Please get vaccinated, get boosted, wash your hands. Try and leave everywhere a little better and happier than when you got there. And I think everything would work out just fine. But until next time, play some games. See you in a week.